Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about the current banners that are available and also the customized banner and what I would recommend to spend your pools on for these banners. So first off, we have the customized banner. In the customized banner, similar to last time I made a video for regarding customized banner, I would say Farnese and Morgan are still the best units to have. So if you don't have them, you should be putting them, whichever ones you don't have, into your picks. So Farnese is the best tank in all areas of the game. Okay, and that's pretty simple. So you definitely want one of her. She does work fine at R0, but she does need rank 5 to get her taunt, which she'll do on attack. So she's not an auto taunt, but it's not really necessary, except for maybe on raid bosses, right? But you can make do with rank 0 for both bosses and just general PvE, so that's fine. It's not necessary to get rank 5, but eventually you probably will want to aim to get her to rank 5. Morgan, I believe she does work at rank 0, so I think she's a good investment to pick up. She does need really good gear, but it's worth focusing your best gear onto her, especially during the early game. You'll probably use Kokoro Okami and Skadi to carry you for a while, but once you can invest good enough gear and level Morgan up, she'll pretty much wipe the whole enemy board by herself, as long as you know how to place your units. So also, if you want to future-proof yourself against Moon Abyss, she's going to be, if the Moon Abyss is going to be the same each time, you'll find that Morgan will carry you quite well. I don't think you necessarily need Morgan to complete everything, but it will make your life so much easier. I think it's just worth picking her up. And to be honest, there's not too many units on this banner that I would recommend for free-to-play anyway. These are the first two. Now, if you're completely free-to-play, the next unit I would recommend would be Zhao Meng to help you against bosses in general. Now, for Crusade bosses, there's supposed to be a rotation of different damage reduction types. So Zhao Meng is anti-armor. And we've had 2 armor bosses so far. So there's a good chance that the next one won't be armor, but I think it's good to consider pulling her, right? And then the other unit that's worth using for bosses will be Pressure. This is if you don't have a Lily. So Lily is also an anti-dodge boss. Anti-dodge DPS. And I believe she's better than Pressure. But if you missed out on the Lily banner, then you would need Pressure as a way to deal with that. Worst case scenario, you just use Skadi. But if you actually want to do well with the Crusade bosses, then you probably want a specific unit for the different damage reduction types. So Zhao Meng and Pressure will cover you against armor and dodge, and I'll talk about another unit that will cover you against resistance, which is the other damage reduction type. Now, if you're focused on PvP, I think at the moment Nastia and Mo are both good units to pick up for that. This is more for pay-to-play territory, in my opinion. I think PvP, if you want to climb high, it's gonna take a lot of investment. I think it's gonna be very tough to be free to play at the top ranks. I'm sure it's possible, especially if you started from the beginning. But if you started late, you'll be playing catch up for a while, and I don't feel like it's worth focusing too heavily on PvP if you're free to play, just because I think you'll get more rewards out of focusing on PvE units and making sure you do well in all the Crusade raids and also Moon Abyss, because that's where the bulk of your rewards are going to be coming from. In PvP, sure, there's plenty of rewards, but even if you're just using your current best built units and just throwing them in together, you still rank decently, and as long as you're doing your attacks every week, you shouldn't have too much issue buying most of the good stuff in the store. So you don't really need to focus too heavily on PvP unless you just really enjoy that aspect of the game. That's perfectly fine, up to you. But these two are currently meta at the moment, I would say. especially nastier. Mo, I haven't seen as many people use so far, but I think she is good just because there's so many good guard units at the moment, and she sort of works based off having multiple guard units. The other unit that is good for both PvE and PvP is Lena. I think she's a decent pickup, so you could consider her as well. Otherwise, I think there are some other reasonable units. Like I think Sapar, Ashlika are both decent PvP units. Alice is okay, but requires a lot of investment. The rest are sort of you can live without. But if you have the units that are already the most important, like you have your Farnese, you got your DPS, like your PvE DPS already, then I would say your best bet is just to pick the units that you want to get dupes of, because it's better as a free-to-play to focus on building a few good units rather than spreading your resources too thin. But it is good to have certain options like Pressio for in the future when you need her for the certain bosses. For SR units, the only must-have is Gin, I would say, at the moment. She is good for everyone. Like she's an auto-taunt unit, can't go wrong with her. With the shift of guard units and guard builds, Jack Sui is also moving up and getting used at the top ranks. She can also bait T-Starry, I believe, so she's got some good applications in your team. So if you care about PvP, I'll probably get her. But Gin is a good overall good unit. If you don't have rank 10, you should probably get her first. And then all these supports are all reasonable. Like you can pick up the supports if you want. Just pick whoever you want really. Like Mizo is a good tank healer. Hoshi is like a AoE healer, I believe. Mito is also a group healer. She has like a weird attack pattern or like a heal pattern. Momoko's a shield buffer. She's decent for Moon Abyss. You've probably seen me use her in the recent Moon Abyss videos. And Mabel's a decent attack buffer if you need her, but you probably don't really need her that badly because Tina is better anyway. So you can really just pick whoever you want from this SR list. Beyond that, just you can go for collection or whatever. Like pick up the ones that you're missing skill ups for. That's fine as well. And that pretty much covers the customized banner. So let's move on to the Transcendent unit. So current Transcendent unit is Ilya. We get one for free, so there's not like a big rush to pull for her. And I would say save your tickets because she's not really worth building. And the only reason that you would pull on this banner is to get skill ups. And at the moment she's not really used as far as I know. So I will wait for the next Transcendent unit and see what it is before you use your tickets. Now for the current banners, first off we have Bolina. So Bolina is the other unit I was talking about, who will cover you for Crusade raid. Okay, so she does damage that goes through damage reduction, which is resistance. And as I said, we haven't seen a dodge or resistance boss yet, so there's a good chance that we'll probably see one coming up soon. So I think picking up at least one copy of her is highly recommended. But keep in mind she does need skill ups to get her her bonus damage that goes through resistance. Similar to Xiao Meng, all the raid boss DPS units do need some skill ups. So if you're low on resources but you have glittering reverbs, then maybe just hang on to your glittering reverbs and see what boss we get for the next crusade, and then whichever one we get, that's where you put your reverbs on to get to the required skill rank to do the boss. She does also have some PvP applications, but I do believe she does need skill ups before that is relevant. I'm not sure if she's viable at rank 0, but if you do get her to rank 4 at least, then I think she's a good single target PvP DPS unit. She can kill tanks with if you have good enough cores on her. So she has a bit of applications for both PvE and PvP, but I would say she's leaning more towards PvE for raid specifically. Then we have Hawk as the next unit. So she is a guard unit that she affects shields for both your team and the enemy's team. So for the enemy team, she'll reduce the effectiveness. For your team, she'll buff shields on your guard units and also increase their effectiveness. And then she also does a skill where she makes the shields reflect damage against the enemy. So she's very good in PvP, and she's more of a PvP unit, but she does also have a PvE use because of the shield and it affecting guard units. This can be a good synergy with your Morgan for Moon Abyss. So you could consider that if you want a like a unit to help your Morgan for PvE. But that's specifically for floor 80 and above, where you're picking the reflect damage, right, for your units. At least I feel like that's her use in that regard. I haven't tested it yet. I didn't have time to really test too much on it before the event ended. But for the next Moon Abyss, I will try to make use of Hawk, and we'll see how she goes. Now, out of the these two banners, both use elite tickets. Now, I would prioritize Bolina first. If you are lucky enough to summon and pull her, and you have spare tickets, then I would pull on the Hlock as well and try to get her. So for my free-to-play account, I did manage to get both of them. It took me about 170 tickets to get both. I feel like I was fairly lucky, but I was saving up all my tickets until this point, because there was nothing really worth pulling until now, in my opinion. Those are the current units available, and also if you are unlucky, you can also use these tickets, which you'll get whenever you summon, like on the banner. These will accumulate and they won't disappear. So if you are really unlucky and you have enough, you need 200 of these to get the unit, or if you just want to get more skill ups, that's also an option. Then you can spend it on this unit, on this shop, I guess. Otherwise, I would recommend just hanging on to them. If you've already got the units, then you don't really need to spend the points, especially as free to play. You can hang on to the points until the next banner and see if you need it. And if you don't have enough pulls for that banner, then you can just redeem a copy of that unit to make sure that you get the ones that you are chasing. And both of these units are limited, so that's also an incentive to pull for these. I would try to save these up for any limited units as well. Any unit that you know won't go into the customized banner in the future. Alright, so that's all the units currently available. I'll probably do a follow-up video next week or the week after when they release some more units. Because at the rate we're going, we're probably getting a new unit every week, and we're going to get a new Transcendent unit most likely in a couple of weeks after Ilia ends. So I'll discuss those characters when that happens, and I'll give you my thoughts on whether to pull or not. So that's all I have today. Thanks for watching. I hope that helps you out, and good luck with your pulls. Then I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.